Pairing live stream. Setting up live meeting. Done. Redirecting to YouTube. Okay, we are live. We're on in 3, 2, 1. Action. Welcome, my friends, to another episode of Pathway to Peace with myself, Joshua Marcos Munoz, and Professor Matt Perlstein. Hello, my friend. Welcome to episode number 8. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I got a cold, so I'll try not to honk on the podcast. It's kind of tacky, but other than that, I'm doing fantastic. Yesterday was my anniversary, my 11th anniversary of having cancer, and so I'm very appreciative of medical science and keeping my fanny still here. So feeling some
Awesome.
gratitude today.
Awesome. Well, I mean, congratulations.
Yep.
It's been
Yep.
11 years. Let's hope for 11 times 3 more for you. How about that? And we'll be talking
Sounds
about
good.
health as well and what it means to live a long life and not just longevity, but purpose, right? Meaning what are we living for is also as important as the quantity of life, right? I mean,
Right.
this is
And
something that
quality.
yes, exactly, quality. So
Yeah.
this is actually something I've been doing research on more in my ongoing study of emotional intelligence, thanks to Matt and his program as well. The studies that have shown that what are some of the things that people have have reflected on that were most important and
Mm.
they wish they would cultivate more in their life, right? And a lot of
Right.
them reflected on the fact that they wish they spent more time with their family, with their friends, doing things that they want to do, and not spend so much time pushing themselves to work, pushing themselves to achieve, pushing themselves to do something that perhaps is something that others want for them and have ideas, kind of like living up to other people's expectations, sort of thing. So when people are interviewed in these long studies, as you've mentioned before, one right, there's one in Oxford, is it
Harvard.
Harvard?
Harvard.
Okay,
Yep,
yeah,
Gardner
yeah,
studied 92 years. They asking people what's the most important thing, and they said, people connect and stay connected is my summation of it. Connect with people and stay connected. It's on you to stay connected with people. It's a
right.
big deal
Relationships,
as humans,
relationships.
for us
So
humans.
in the world of emotional intelligence, right, there's kind of three main factors that I understand. There's self-awareness, there's social awareness, and then there's relationship awareness, right? And so knowing yourself, knowing what you're feeling, expressing it, giving it a name, being able to take responsibility that nobody is making you feel anything you don't choose yourself to feel, right? So taking the power back.
Yes,
And then the
yes,
social awareness part of emotional intelligence, and that knowing how other people are feeling and how they're interacting and how they're, what their body language is saying, what words they're
yeah.
saying, what words they're not saying that is
Guessing, but
expressing.
still, yeah, it's
Of course, there's only
important.
guessing. We can't
Yeah,
really know what's in the consciousness of another person, right? but but there's educated guesses that
yeah,
could benefit, and not just guessing, but just like a knowing through bodily connection
yeah,
of your own body, and then the relationship, right? So how are you dealing with the awareness of how you're dealing, and allowing others to feel themselves about you, right? Like I like saying,
yeah.
it's about me feeling you feeling me, right? So
That's great. I like that.
right, yeah, that goes to one of my favorite speakers and psychologists in Europe, uh, Thomas Hubble, huge inspiration, huge peacemaker between even uh, those who were a part of the World War II Holocaust, situation where he pioneered and conducted group meetings of German Nazi officers with Jewish and other
Oh,
prisoners of
really?
war, and put them together in
Wow.
the same room and be like, okay, we're gonna have to deal with this. There's some emotional generational trauma here, and he's been able to conduct these meetings, these connections that are just like, wow, right? Can you imagine
Wow.
the depth of those kind of you know situations that
Wow.
he's made
Yeah, the other one
available?
that did work in that department is Fritz Perls. May have heard know about him. He
Oh, I
was
love
also a
him.
concentration camp prisoner, and
Mhm.
same thing. He used to counsel the guards while he was in prison. He was a counselor for the guards. Can you imagine? They like, wow. But he said one of the coolest things he said was that between stimulus, which is outside of you, and response, which is how you respond to it, there's a space. And in that space lies our growth and our freedom. I love that because that is emotional intelligence. That space is where it gives us the right or the ability and the skill and the flexibility to respond properly or the way that's a good way to, and no matter what's happening outside, we still get to decide what goes on inside. Like you said, personal responsibility is a big deal. There are thoughts, our emotions, ours.
Yeah,
Nobody makes us feel nothing without our
that's
permission.
right. That's right. We make ourselves feel it. That we're the
And most
only
people don't know that.
permission creators. Yeah, I know. That's what we're here to share, and we're here to emphasize,
Yep.
right? That
Emotional
for
responsibility,
there
I call it.
for us to move towards outer peace, right? Towards world peace, to say we need to
Yeah,
have inner peace, right? And so that's what the theme of this podcast is today, is how to process inner peace, how to cultivate inner peace. And so we're
excellent.
here to share different methodologies from across the board, from what I would say mindfulness to meditation to yoga to self hypnosis to emotional intelligence to positive psychology, breath work, so many different realms that enable us all to find and look for that inner peace that is crucial, according to my understanding. Even in the yoga philosophy, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that one cannot have happiness without peace. So let's strive for creation of peace to move towards happiness. And so with that, maybe you can share a few things, Matt, that one can start in, discovering, is practicing in their life to cultivating a peaceful mindset. What would you say is somebody, they come up to you, Matt, and they're like, you know what? My mind is a frazzle. I am just like, I can't even sit down for a second, and my life here is so stressful. I have a job, two, three, so many children, so many responsibilities. How do you have them kind of calm down? And what's the first step you would have them start doing?
To me, as I mentioned a number of times, the first step is always awareness. So being
Mm-hmm.
aware that you're upset is cool, is interesting. First step. I'm not saying it's good news, but it's news and it's something you could
Mm-hmm.
do something with. And then accepting that that's how it is, and there's you got some work to do, and things can change. I guess some belief and faith that you can do better and that you can have a more peaceful life would be an important part of starting your journey, right? Knowing it, not at least believe that it can work, or else you're that's going to be tough. Um, and then it's awareness, acceptance, action. So what are you going to do about it? What do you want to do with this? You want to find out more? You want to read some? You want to talk to me or somebody? Or you want to take a class or read a book or whatever? There's tons and tons of information now, like we were talking earlier, about how to do personal growth and how to do emotional intelligence and positive mental health. And so it, it's making it more of a priority in your life, I guess, is to make it, believe it, and then you can see it and then do something about it. Make it find out some better ways of doing it. So that's what I
Okay,
would
so how
suggest.
so what could be that thing that somebody could do?
Okay, well, the biggest one I always say is I think if I have a bumper sticker, which I need to make one, somebody said, "What's one thing if you had to say it?" And I would say the biggest thing is that you are responsible, that they're your thoughts and your feelings. So if you got all these things going on, you got stress in your life, there pressures on you and stuff like that, and you can be happy regardless. You can adjust, you can spin it to win it, I call it, right? You can adjust your thoughts
Mm.
and feelings so that you can be happier even though all that stuff is happening. And you can do that, and you don't need anybody or anything or any dollars or nothing to make that happen. So believe in it and then knowing that it's up to you. I think that's a big deal.
So owning that you have the
Own it.
necessary power, right, to
Tools.
change
Yeah, power, yeah.
what you are actually feeling,
Right.
right?
We're,
We
right.
have
We're
the
born with all
ability, right?
everything we need. We just don't know how to use it. So it's an education issue.
Speaking of being born, I remember you stating once that there's only some of the things that hold us back are fear, right? And so when we're
Yeah.
born, what are the first what are the two real fears that we have as a
Fear of falling,
babies?
fear of loud noises. That's it. So that
Mm.
means all that fear, all the other fears that you have now, and all your anger and all your sadness, all of that is learned. All of it, all of it, all of it. And therefore can be unlearned and can be changed and can be modified. You can spin them to win them because you made them in the first place. And that's really good news. That's really, really good news. Best thing that changed my life. So we're
Right. So
born
we
with
get to
only two fears.
choose. So we get to
Yep.
choose what we fear, and then thus, if we want
Yep.
peace, right, to move away from fear, we could. So how would spinning it look like? So how would, let's say I have
Yep.
this thought in my mind, like, oh man, I'm
Yep.
horrible, I'm a piece of junk, and
Yep.
and I've been told so many times that I'm worthless and I have no
Right.
value. And how would you help someone that has that sort of mentality? How
Well,
would one
that was, yeah, you
orient
weren't
that?
born that way. So somebody gave that to you. So many of the folks that work on that, John Bradshaw is my favorite,
Mm,
said, give it back. Did not decline to carry that around. You're carrying it around. Somebody told you that, but
mhm.
that's not true. It's not actually true. It's just their way of perceiving you, and so you give it back. You're like, I'm not carrying that anywhere anymore. I believed you. You told me that, and I believed you. And now you can tell me that all you want to. I'm not believing you anymore. I decline
Mm.
to carry that around. So
So
it's a
choosing not to
rejection and
believe
it's
it.
an
So
anger thing.
rejecting.
Sometimes it's an anger thing. Yep. Yep.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So I remember you've
But
said
that starts
before
with
that.
awareness and acceptance. Again, you become aware that you're believing this stuff and accept that. All right, I bought it, but I'm not buying it
Mm.
anymore. That's my action. Is no more, no mas, right? No more. And that sometimes takes some anger, and it seems it's tough. I mean, it sounds this is all real simple, but it ain't easy. It's some of the toughest stuff you'll ever do. It's really hard, but it can be done. You can do it, and you can do it with nothing and nobody and no dollars and no rupees.
Right, right. Yeah, very good. So
Whose
then there's
voice is it?
self-talk,
Who told you that? What did they say to you? What have you been
some
carrying? What are you
curiosity,
carrying in your
right?
body? No, I'm
Mm.
not. I'm rejecting this. I'm taking it out of me. I'm not carrying this anymore.
Mhm.
I'm not believing it anymore. I'm changing my beliefs from X to Y, from bad to good, from negative to positive. I'm doing that, and from now on, that's it. And sometimes you got to fake it till you make it, because at first you're like, "What?" Because you'll tell yourself, "No, you're fine," and then you're like, "No," because you're used to thinking the same thought process, and you go, "No, this is new, this is different, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to be weird, and you're going to think that you're just making it up." Well, you are making it up, but you made it up to begin with. You made it up to begin with,
So
so you get to change
that's the
it.
key. That's the key, that it's been made up for us.
Yeah, it
So
is.
now we get to choose. And so I akin
Become
it,
something
as a
different.
hypnotherapist, I akin it to programs, right? These are just suggestions that we accepted when we were young, and they were useful when we were young for whatever reason as a protective
Yep.
mechanism, right? Because let's say,
Right.
oh, they say this about me. Okay, fine. I'll just believe it, and I'll just play small, and I'll be
Like a
safe
little
if
kid.
I'm not
Yeah.
in the
You're like, yeah.
limelight, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe it was necessary to be like that because your life was perhaps perceived as being threatened. But now, older, more wise, and in a position to
Yeah.
be able to take account, more self-awareness, right, of these emotions, you can be like, well, yeah, reject it and replace it. And so how one can
Yeah.
do that is basically just talk to the mind and be like, okay, that's all right. Maybe there's a small version of yourself inside that is like feeling that way. Recognize it,
Yep.
be aware, accept it, and begin to nurture it. So this goes a little bit with what we were just talking about with Fritz Perls, and his parts therapy. We need to talk with these parts of ourselves. And so there's a part of myself that potentially has accepted this idea, this suggestion, right? This uh, uh, emotion that I am worthless. And then
Yeah.
now, as an adult, you can be like, wait, but why do I feel that? I choose not to, right? So maybe some anger is necessary in order to get that impetus, right? So,
Yep.
there's that uh, graph of consciousness that goes from shame, guilt through to like blame and hurt, and then anger and such, and then moves up in terms of qualitative. What is it? What's his name?
Maslow. Yep.
No, not Maslov. He wrote the book on on also changing one's emotions. It'll come to me. And he
Okay.
he he basically has this like hierarchy of emotions that go through from hate to like courage, from courage uh to to strength to eventually more and more compassion, and then love, and then above that, beyond that, so many. He made a point system from 1 to 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Our friend Davey uses that a lot. And he said the
correct.
highest level, the highest point system you can get is grace, GRACE. That's the highest
Mm,
one. He
mm.
said that the other day.
Yeah, calibrates as truth. He loves saying that. I remember reading his book. So that's great. So accepting it, changing it, getting angry, and taking the responsibility, right? The ability to respond to that, and changing it, choosing to change it, right? So changing that suggestion from one of a negative one to be like one of, okay, no, I am worthy. I am worthy of, at least in myself, to take myself seriously, and to be that I am going to move forward and be positive, right? And we
May
can
I?
talk about, yeah, go for it.
Oh, just that adding in a step, which is one of your favorites, is where is it in my body? Where am I carrying this
Ah,
in my
yes,
body?
correct,
And then
correct.
and get it out of there too. Reject it from your body and then replace it with something good, a sound, a feeling, a
Mm,
color, whatever. But get
that's
it,
it.
find it
Oh
in your
yeah,
body and get rid of that. Damn it. Damn it.
yeah,
You're not
yeah,
welcome here anymore. Get out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the process of catharsis in hypnotherapy, is to express it. And often, if it's like stuck in a certain body part, we like push into that, and then allow the client to just push into a pillow, and like, okay, I see red and it's spiky and it's hot, and I'm just pushing it out, and they just scream, and oh, and then it's a release of that stuck energy that might have been in there for decades, right?
Yeah. NLP. Love it.
That's it, right?
Yep.
It's the same principles of NLP, of neuro linguistic programming, of how we're storing certain emotions literally in the body, literally. And there's this book um, called what is it? Storing it in pain, traumas in the body, something. Oh man, I don't recall that book either.
This
Um,
one, body keeps the score. The body
yes,
keeps the
that's
score.
it.
That one.
The body keeps the score. So literally, our traumas are encapsulated in muscle structures in the nerves of our body, and it's like a memory bank. And when we can tap into that and allow it to flow, right, allow that energy, that conscious memory to express itself, then there's release, there's healing, right? Also, some mindfulness meditation techniques that we can work on is just anchoring those feelings from from our body with our breath, right? So it's releasing it by taking into account and just being curious of what's in your body. Like you feel a pain, a numbing in your body, something that Fritz Perls would say is like, numb it, numb it. You own that numbing in your arm. I am numbing my arm. It's not
Yeah.
happening to me. It's happening. I'm making it
In-
happen. And when you take the process or take the responsibility of the process, then you take ownership of it, and then you can start to release it. You can start to release it. I am numbing my hand, not that somebody else has numbed me, right? So it's taking that responsibility and moving towards uh, releasing it, right? Right. So doing a body scan of this awareness is also a very nice practice. It can help enhance self-awareness and help detect stress early within our body, and learning to label it and letting it go, right? That's part of emotional intelligence. Labeling it, accepting it, and expressing it, right? And
and then replacing it with something
replacing,
good. Because there'll be
right?
a space
Replacing.
once if you do release it, there'll be a space and you get to fill it up with whatever you want. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't fill it up, then the yucky stuff will probably come back because it's a habit and it's comfortable there, but and you're actually comfortable with it there, which is a drag, but it's true. And so
Mm,
you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable, I call it. So you're trying
that's
new
it.
things, you're doing something different, you're rejecting certain things that you've thought your whole life and you've generalized and you've even what happens is when you're as a kid, you're going, so parents tell you this, or somebody told you, you know, how you are and how you are, and you're like, okay, well, I'm just a little kid. How do I know? I guess they're right. You know, you're and they're just doing their issues, but you don't know that as a kid, and so you take it
Mm,
on as a
mm,
loving gesture because that you think you're helping and being right, you know, connecting with them, and then
yeah.
you carry it around your whole life, and then it starts breaking down your body because it's stuck in there for a long, long, long
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and doesn't go well body wise. But
Yeah.
you can manage it, you can change it, you can own it, you can release it, and you can fill it back up with something better.
Mm, And replacing that is by creating new suggestions, right? New ideas and new phrases. And so when
Yep.
working on replacing it, um, what I suggest when one is trying to do that in self hypnosis is by using positive words and present tense words. So I am feeling this right now, and I am releasing it, and I am changing this now. So positive present tense and simple words, because our subconscious mind works with simple words. So being like, I quite frankly feel dejected and rejected and low about myself, but now I choose to feel that I am worthy of love. I am worthy of strength. I'm worthy of choosing what I want to feel. And so taking that stance, taking that positive, self-affirming, uh, present tense words can start to reprogram that old suggestion that we used to have, right? So we
Yep.
want to do that kind of like guided meditations for our own self, right? And
That
so
is
that's one
really
way
effective.
of doing that. And
Yep. Yep.
another
And like I
another
said, it's
tool.
really important that your body that you're going to be comfortable with that. So it's weird because you're going to have to fight against yourself and your old habits and your own beliefs and stuff like that, and you have to kind of fight against yourself and maybe even be
Yeah,
angry at you for carrying that around. Not don't be
yeah,
abusive and start
yeah,
trashing
yeah,
yourself, but you're like, no, damn it, no, 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 I'm not doing this anymore, and I don't want to, continue this line of thought. And so it's really uncomfortable. You're going to be fighting yourself, and you're going to tell yourself that's not true. And you got what happens is I was going to say when
mm,
you as a kid you start believing this stuff, and then we unconsciously, subconsciously, whatever, start going through our lives finding evidence to prove that we are correct. We like to
yeah,
be right. So
yeah,
we go
yeah,
finding stuff and if we can't find it, we'll create it to make sure
yeah.
that we are correct in our assumptions,
Right.
and they're dead wrong to
Yeah,
begin with. And it's tough. So
yeah,
it's tough. It's tough work.
Mhm, mhm. So we have to work on encouraging ourselves, right? I really love the idea. I work with a lot of men, a lot of depressed men who are just having a tough time finding meaning and purpose in their life. So they feel like they're unworthy, right? And they're like their life has been a failure because perhaps their father, perhaps some authority figure has like said that to them over and over.
Yeah.
And so it's about it's about cultivating a friendly mind, right? So then you start speaking with this part of yourself, like, it's okay. I understand how you feel. This has been a tough situation growing up, with this, and like a best friend, be curious. Okay, like what can we do to improve the situation, right? Well, what do you like doing? What can start improving your self worth? And it's like, well, maybe uh, I want to learn to be able to speak with a cute girl, right? And then, so I'm speaking with like a lot of guys, and okay, well, how would you like to see yourself speaking with a cute girl or somebody who you like or whatever? And it's like, well, I want to feel strong, powerful, courageous. I want to feel energetic, funny, um, you know, present. And this is like, okay, how would that feel? And then so go in, just get into that feeling and visualize, and at the same time, feel what it is to be like that, right? And so I would help somebody just kind of break that kind of old pattern and create a new pattern, and then have a power phrase that I like that I've said before. I think in terms of like, okay, I am confident, I am courageous, and I am curious when it comes to speaking with women or something like that, right? And so then that in itself, it starts pre-creating a program. I am confident, courageous, and curious. Confident, courageous, and curious. And then repeating that is one way of replacing that old suggestion, right? That old feeling, that old idea of not being worthy of having a girlfriend or something, whomever I'm working with in this particular case. So yeah, I mean, and in order to do that, to discover that about oneself, I think some good journaling is a powerful process,
Yeah.
right?
I'm a big fan of journaling. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So to be able to write these things down so that you can reflect on them at a later time and be like, wow, that's really true. I've felt like this for so long, and now I choose not to. I choose to feel something different because I know I deserve it, right? And I want it, and it's going to be part of who I am. So that's one way of doing that. And self hypnosis, all hypnosis is self hypnosis. It's something that is done with us. And so one way of doing that is just having a clear intention of what we want, and then talking to ourselves and going into the state of hypnosis involves simply telling different parts of our body to relax. So there's a process called progressive muscle relaxation where we go from the feet. Okay, I relax my feet, I relax my toes, my ankles, my shins, my calves. You go up all the way up the body, to the torso, the back, the legs, the shoulders, the arms, the neck, the head. And then once in that relaxed state of focused concentration, then you can use this power phrase to repeat it over and over. I am confident, courageous, and curious. Confident, courageous, and curious. When I see a cute girl and she comes up to me and she says hi, I'm confident, courageous, and curious. And I just say, I smile and I say, hello, yes, how are you doing? And how's your day been? And if it's in school or in class or whatever, what are you studying? Have some curiosity. And so this starts to build a new frame, a new mindset, a reorientation of the old pattern into a new pattern.
Nice.
So that's something that I can suggest with others to start implementing, and having a meditative practice that allows one to be comfortable in this state of hypnosis, these expanded states of awareness, can allow us to become more clear with what it is that is blocking us. So we're
Okay.
creating
I
inner
like
peace.
how.
So we were talking about
Yep.
meditation too, right? So
Okay.
what's a meditative technique that you've maybe have practiced yourself that you could suggest here? How do you get
I
peace
like the
in your own life, Matt? Hmm?
I like the guided visualization, I think is what you called it, where you guide yourself or you listen to tape or you listen to somebody taking you into a journey into probably into your past. I'm big on working on your past and changing things, making things different, imagine it different, better, etc.
Mm,
And your mind doesn't really know the difference between what actually happened and what you're making up now.
that's right.
And so
That's right.
you can make it different and you'll feel different and you can change it kind of permanently.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
guided meditation is a beautiful, beautiful tool.
Yeah, and you can record your own suggestions. You can record like
There you go.
confident,
Yep.
courageous curiosity. And when I go to school, when I go to the mall, when I go to the stores, I feel this flowing through me. And I can see myself speaking with so many different people, interacting lively and with poise and clearly communicating. And so you can write just like this, write down on a paper, have your phone, right? Just record it as an audio and
There you
then
go.
just replay it. So what you do is self-hypnosis, right? Just go into a quiet room, lay down and be like, okay, I'm relaxing my feet, my legs, my knees, my thighs. And you talk to yourself in this way, in this progressive relaxation methodology. And then once you feel really relaxed, what I help my clients do is create an inner oasis. So there's like an inner garden where it's kind of like the starting point for all of this work. So you can always start off on the same bench, right? And you can see like the weather's perfect. And my favorite trees, my favorite flowers, my favorite animals are running around. And when you cultivate this meditative inner oasis of tranquility, of peace, then then from there you can start, you can push play on your recorder, or if it's already been playing, and just allow that suggestion of courageous, uh, what did I say? Courage, confidence, and curiosity, right? So
And curious,
that's,
what you said.
yeah,
Confidence, curious,
curious.
courageous, and curious. Yeah, those are good.
Yes, confident, courageous, and curious. Correct. That's it. That's it. And so that can be your power phrase. And you can just choose 3 words, a few words, a sentence that you repeat to yourself all throughout the day. And that starts to change that program, right? That
Reprogram
paradigm
yourself.
that we accepted when we were at a certain age, but we can now change it. See, ideas and suggestions aren't removed, but they are replaced. So that's something we need to keep in
Replace.
mind. We can replace them by repetition, strong emotion, repetition, authoritative figures. All of these can affect how we accept new suggestions. So yeah, I mean, this podcast is all about, we want world peace. We want people to be able to interact with each other in peace. And so that it starts with creating our own peace from within, right?
Yep.
And it's just taking the responsibility of like, nobody makes me feel anything. I make myself feel it. So I get to choose, right? You gave the
I get to
example, I
choose. I
think,
have the
beautiful
power.
yesterday. That's right. I
Yes.
think you gave the example yesterday too, in one of the, the courses that we're taking, that you were dealing with a sewage pipe on an RV, right? And you had a little
Yeah,
accident in which the
a
the
little
tube, in which the tube kind
losing.
of opened up and splattered all sorts of refuge, bathroom sludge
Yes.
all over the place. But tell
And
us a
me.
little bit how you chose to react to that.
Well, if you saw the movie RV, Robin Williams, it happened to him too. It just go boom. It was awful. And it's incredible, actually. And so, yeah, so what I was doing was I was laughing at myself, watching myself, and like, okay, so how are you going to react to this situation, buddy boy? Let's see how your emotional intelligence is. How are you going to get upset and get all pissy about it, or or completely grossed out and throw up or something. I don't know. But I was laughing at myself because I was thinking, like, well, I guess I'm taking a shower now. Next, I guess I gotta make a wash.
Yeah,
So I got
yeah.
some work to do. But um,
So
anyway,
you spun that.
my
You
first
spun that
thought
to win it.
was,
You spin it to win it. So
yeah,
you spin it as the
right, right.
like okay,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Well,
It's
it
just
wasn't
now I have
even
to
spin.
shower now.
I didn't have to spin it.
Uh-huh.
That's the
Okay,
cool part is
interesting.
that I didn't have to, I never got
Cool.
had the negative thought to begin with, so I didn't have to spin it, which is pretty
Uh-huh.
cool. I was proud of myself for that.
Uh-huh.
My first thought was you can get upset if you want to. That was what I actually said
Yeah,
to myself. You can get as upset as you want to, something like
right.
that. And
Uh-huh.
so I went, I'm going to choose not to. So here goes.
Nice,
My
nice.
choice. I have the power.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
a shitty job, but somebody's got to do it.
That's right.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, my friend. Well, we're going to start wrapping up this podcast for today. We were talking about inner peace with different ways of doing that, taking responsibility for our feelings, noticing, becoming aware, accepting it, and then changing it. Right. So our
Practice it.
self-talk is a
That's
big
right.
one. Talking to the parts of ourselves that are feeling that way, and how to utilize auto suggestions, self suggestions to change that, right? Using hypnosis, self hypnosis by getting ourselves in a nice, concentrated, relaxed state of consciousness, laying down in bed, and then playing our power phrase, right? Confident, courageous, and curious. And then that makes us and enables us to reframe and rechange the previous suggestions that we accepted and having compassion for that part of ourselves. Like, okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
You felt like you were worthless because your father or your mother or
You
whomever,
told
a
me.
friend or teacher just treated you badly and they were suffering, they were hurting themselves. So forgive them, right? Forgive them, forgive yourself, let it go, let it go, let it go.
Actually, you
It's
brought up something else is about having compassion for yourself because sometimes what happens is you start this work and people say, okay, I'm not going to keep thinking that negative about myself. And then you
yeah,
catch yourself doing it and you're like, that gives you more and
yeah,
more, what is it? Evidence that you are worthless. You see, you couldn't even do
yeah,
that. You couldn't even do that. But if you have
yeah,
compassion for yourself, a lot of times you will catch
yeah,
yourself after you did it and you're
yeah,
trying not to do it, but you catch yourself after to not beat on yourself to go, oh, oh, that's cool. Okay, I got it. I was aware and accepted that happened, and I'm
yeah,
gonna give myself a break because I've been doing this my entire life, and now I'm trying to
yeah,
change it. And okay, all right, I haven't changed it yet, but I'm working on it. So give
yeah,
yourself a break
yeah,
that it's not going to go perfectly from now on just because you decided you're okay. It's not going to go perfectly. It ain't.
right,
And so that's okay. If you can be okay with that, again, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, then you
yeah,
can make new habits, new pathways, and they're actually neural pathways in your brain that you go the same way. It's like mud when it rains, the mud starts going the same way, and then all these different things end up and going the same way, the same way, same way. And so you got these, you've been thinking this for your whole life. It starts going in your brain, and you're gonna try to make a new one. Like, okay, it starts down this way, and you go, no, I want it to go over here where it's positive. Like, wow, that's tough. That stuff not going to
yeah,
happen the first
yeah.
time. I
It takes
guarantee you got to
patience.
make
It takes
new
patience.
grooves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, in doing that, being mindful and meditative practices of just allowing us, any thought to surface without judgment, and then like a cloud moving across the sky, just letting it go. It's like, what's the next
That's
thought?
good.
Something similar. Oh, wait, but what do I feel about that? That's fine. Okay, I forgive. Let it go. Let it go.
Nice,
So there's these
nice,
mindfulness meditation techniques of like clouds. Thoughts are like clouds, and they're moving across the sky of your mind, and you're just
nice.
observing, just observing. You're not those thoughts. Those thoughts are actually just different programs, right? That have been there from your early
You can
upbringing.
just let them go. Yeah. Ignore
Let
them.
them
Let them
go.
go. Release them. Ignore.
Just let
Don't
it.
don't.
And you'll
Another
reach.
analogy is waves in the ocean. They just keep coming. Your thoughts and
Yeah.
your feelings keep coming, keep coming.
Yeah.
But we only choose to surf the ones we want. We get to choose which ones we
Ah,
surf.
yes.
The other
There
ones
you
we
go.
just let them
That's right.
crash on the shore and then they dissipate. And you're like, okay,
That's
that was
right.
a stupid thought. Just let it go. Like, oh, I'm gonna replace it with this thought. I think I'm okay. Ha ha. So I'm gonna put
Hmm.
this thought instead. I like this wave.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. Very, very nice, Matt. So this is a great exploration on different tools, power tools for the mind, software, uh, techniques, and just being aware just of the fact that you can change what you feel. It's in you, and you
Think
give
and
yourself the
feel.
opportunity. You give yourself the um, the authority to do that, right? Because you've always had it from the beginning.
Permission.
You just now it's just a reminder, right?
There you go. And permission is another
And
one.
permission. That's
Yep,
it.
it's okay
That's
to
it.
change it. You don't have to keep believing that just because you did your whole life. You do not have to keep believing that. You can do it different. Here's permission.
That's right. Okay,
So
we'll
I
end it
like that.
here
Power
then.
tools for the mind. That was great. I like that.
Yes, yes, that's what we're here to teach. Power tools for the mind.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. Well,
And
until
heart.
next
And heart.
time. Yes, and eventually, well, it'll sink into the heart, and that's it.
Yep.
That's it. Power tools for the mind to build a beautiful heart.
Oh, nice.
Cool. All
I
right,
like it.
Matt.
Right.
Great, great conversing with you again. Thank you so much, and we'll leave it here. And as like we like to say, peace in and peace out.
Peace out. Bye,
Very
guys.
nice.
Take care. Thank you.
Till next time. Thank you so much.
Cool.